Great stuff, Corbs. Part of me's glad I wasn't involved, because when you were talking about the scrums, that would have just been over my head. But at the same time, Cameron Orr is a great man. And good luck to Seattle. They got themselves in the Western playoffs. They go to Utah quickly after that discussion. Do you see them pulling it off?
I think it's possible. It's possible, but I think Utah win.
I think so.
I think their styles kind of...
Even though Seattle beat Utah.
Yeah, but that game was in that crazy wind. There was no line-outs. Utah's maul never got going. And it was close.
Stop that, but that's the thing.
Yeah, Seattle can stop the maul. And here's the thing that's going to be interesting in this game is, and for the Norses or whatever, is Seattle, when it comes to maul defense, are different to nearly every team in the comp. So Rickard Hatting competes even 5 meters out with two pods.
True.
So they don't worry as much about, like, say us at the Legion, we're staying down and we're going to smash the thing and just try and take Utah's back corner off is the only way to stop that maul.
Yeah.
But what Hatting's going to do, he's going to 2-pod and he's going to get aerial pressure and he's going to make it really frustrating for Utah to win. And that's going to be the question, is if Utah can still win the ball in a position where it makes sense for them to get all their pieces and whack the punch of them all, because they're massive and they're so dynamic then it's on. But if Hatting is able to disrupt that and make it, which he did a little bit against us, who have quite a good maul when we went to Seattle, he forced us to the front. You've got to have your sort of front menu options ready so that you have the right players arriving in the right place to still be able to maul from the front. I expect Utah to be well prepared, but that to me could decide the game.
Well, so you think if that happens, maybe Seattle...
That's Seattle's way to winning.
Really, though...
They're going to have to score some some kick returns from like your Duncan Matthews or something's going to have to make something happen. They're going to have to kick well, defend well, fill the field well, try and slow Utah. But really, if they can defend the maul, that's their chance in the game. If they can't defend their maul, look at LA. That's Utah. Utah build houses of foundation off of the maul and the set-piece dominance. They're still a good enough team to win without it, but when they have that, they're almost unstoppable.
I'll go Utah, though. I'm looking forward to having that game.
I'm going Utah as well.
At home, I do think it'll be a tight one. Let's look at the other game, though, in the West, in terms of Houston against LA. Talk briefly about LA being this... I almost want LA to get to the final just because of the brand of rugby that they play and some of the players who are just on fire at the moment. We mentioned them last week. Houston, though, in Houston, that game we saw against Anthem, and you're saying how we wanted to see Anthem do well. Conditions are tough this time of year. The humidity, the heat. I don't know if that will be good for LA. Actually, with the humidity, it becomes a heavy pitch. And in the end, will that sort of just drag down to be a bit of a gritty game, a mauling game, which will probably benefit Houston? So I look, as much as I feel LA have everything to unlock any side, I just worry for them in the humidity in Houston.
I think the humidity is going to be a factor for sure, but I think you also got to remember that how big that Houston pack is, and they're going to go for size and domination. So if LA are able to keep ball in play and it's humid and that,
that's a fair point.
That's the other side of the coin. And so this game to me is going to come down to, look at the 2 times they played. Do Houston have the ability to kick corner and score tries anytime? If they do, it's going to be a tough ask for LA. If LA can at least stop some of those, they have the attacking style to cause... Houston have so many big lumps. That ball in play and the way LA play is the way. And also the way that you go there, when it's humid, when it's hot, one half is going to be extremely windy behind you, one's going to be extremely windy
Point tosses.
so the question is one half, LA in the win, they're going to have to play everything.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the question. In that half, do Houston trap them down there and eat them alive off errors, penalties, kick corner? Or do LA cause havoc because they can play phases against Houston and then they get the wind and then you've got Leofano and their 9 and everything controlling a bit more and they see the game out? That to me is how it's going to be decided.
I'm saying LA then. I'm going, as much as I went in thinking that this is going to be Houston's environment, I'm going to say LA. LA?
Yeah, I'll go LA.
We'll go with LA.
Take that, Billy Meeks.
Yeah.
Put that in your beer and chug it.
Okay, let's get through the Eastern side because the 2 big games in the Free Jacks against Miami, then Chicago against DC. Let's actually start with Chicago DC. I think Chicago, particularly in the last bit of the season, picked up the form that they were sort of mid-season. They had a bit of a dip. I think their power game is definitely working. They have a kicking game which they really go to with the likes of someone like Chris Hilson back as at 10. Well, I think is that steady Eddie that he has, then with his big, powerful forwards up front, it goes well. They're playing with the likes of Ollie Devoto's having a superb season, the England international, playing with him going forward, but also using his handling as well. But at the same time, Old Glory had just quietly gone about their business. On the show, we haven't necessarily always given them the raps. They did save a lot of players, ultimately, in the day against Legion.
I wouldn't take anything out of our
So I would say, I am going to say, as much as it's going to be difficult, I still think Chicago will get this done. I think Chicago will find themselves in the Eastern Final.
For me, it's going to come down to the set piece. I think Chicago are the type of team that aren't going to crack there to Old Glory. And so for me, then I lean to Chicago because I think they probably have the game control and Devoto to get it rolling. The maul, they'll score some maul tries themselves. So I think I go with Chicago, but Old Glory look to play, and if they can get a roll on in the forwards, I think losing their tight head a few weeks ago to the snapped Achilles really killed some momentum because they were rolling people for scrum pens, and that's kind of died off a little. But if they're able to get the upper hand in the forwards, I think Old Glory have a chance. If not, I'm definitely going Chicago.
Here's the banana skin for me. Free Jacks versus Miami.
It's so hard to call.
Honestly, and you know what? And I know Free Jacks fans who do listen in or see on us on social media, they think certainly that I've got something against them. I don't know why. They basically say that I don't pick them. But anyway, I do. And I do respect the fact that I do think they are, as the power rankings, end of power rankings suggested, being the best team in the league, seed 1. I just think Miami have no fear of going to the Free Jacks. Playing on that surface, they're not bothered about it. They're used to playing on that. They rested a bunch of people, obviously, with playing against Seattle. I think Free Jacks are obviously still the absolute favourites. I just don't know. I just feel Miami might get this done. It feels like Dallas last year. It feels like Dallas Jackals last year came to the playoffs and ruined it for Houston and nearly went all the way.
So I do have something against the Free Jacks.
Oh, here we go.
Not enough Americans, too many Canadians. There it is. Now it's off my chest. But I do think they are definitely one of the best, if not the best team in the comp. And I think for Miami to pull that off, that would be something really special.
I know.
And this is the thing. Miami are that niggly team. They're really hard to get your game going against. They stay in games. They score transition tries out of nowhere that keep them in games or pull ahead when it's been an arm wrestle of a game. And so they kick a lot. Free Jacks kick a fair bit too. Who gets the better of those exchanges?
Yeah.
And then, all right, Free Jacks have a pretty handy maul. If Miami stop that and they can defend and chop their way out of the pick and go like they did, LA or whatever.
It's a tactical game.
Yeah, then they have a chance. But my instinct is to lean with the Free Jacks here. I just think, there's something about knockout rugby and playoffs, and when it's your first time and when they've been through it, I do think, and they're at home, I think it's the Free Jacks, but I would love it if Miami won.
I don't know. I think you're right. I think probably the Free Jacks take that one, but it could be very, very tight. We should find out. It is, of course, if you're watching the US, on ESPN+, but then if you're watching around the world or catching up, it will be on the Rugby Network. So there you have it. We're in playoff time.